Use Prezi.com for your next presentation and you're guaranteed to have success. First things first, log into Prezi.com, Prezi.com. You'll be prompted to this screen, where if you'd like you can use the option Get Started and watch a tutorial video, which is very informative, very helpful. You'll also be instructed to sign up, which I've already done, so I'm going to log in at the top right hand portion of the screen. Notice here in this area you can log in with Facebook. You can log in also with LinkedIn. I personally sign in with my email address and my password. And the next screen can be equated to a home screen. So your very own home Prezi screen. Notice that I have several Prezis being visually displayed on the right. Although today we're going to focus on creating new Prezis. So I'll hover over that window and I'll click. This takes a moment. While it's loading, gather your thoughts and see. The next page you're prompted to is a page of templates. Now, many templates from which to choose. Pretty much something for every event, every occasion, every course of study. However, feel free to search for templates utilizing the search bar at the top. Also, if you prefer, notice you can start a blank Prezi as well. I'll choose the world map, click on it, and hit Use Template. And in a moment, here we are. I have the map template for my new Prezi. Prezis are organized by frames. See here? We have 6 of them. That does not mean we're restricted to 6 frames. To add additional frames, merely click on the frame up top and drag it. There, now you see we have 7. Well, you can click in any of these frames. Matter of fact, you can click anywhere on the screen and you'll see a box appear. In that box, feel free to write text. Maybe add a title. Just by clicking on the screen. Look below. Below the title you have an option to write a subtitle or a small textual description. Just remember, you can pretty much click wherever you want on the screen and create. Now let's draw your attention to the Insert option at the top of the screen. Click on that and see what your options are. Here's a highlighter option. Maybe you want to draw a connection from one to the other. Click on the insert again. See that you have the option to use a YouTube video if it's appropriate. I just happen to have one that is. When you insert your video, it's automatically placed in the left-hand top. You needn't keep it there. Feel free to cursor over the hand and drag that wherever you want it. Also, perhaps you want to make it smaller. Hit the minus sign below the hand to reduce the size of the cap. And as you recall, you can feel free to write right below it simply by tapping and getting yourself a text box. Once you've typed, don't forget you can change the style, the font, the size, and now let's go back to insert. This time, we'll insert an image. Sure, there are dozens of images for you to choose from on the right hand side, but you can also search for your own simply by typing it into the Google search bar. Okay, once that image arrives, click on it and drag it exactly where you'd like it to be. For a moment it'll process before posting permanently. And there it is. Don't forget, you're more than welcome to reduce it in size or move it to another location. You can even delete it if you like, just by clicking on it and hitting delete. Now if we look to the left where the individual slides are located, you'll notice that they're chronological. Now what if you decide that you'd rather have the 7 slide where the 5 slide is? Not a problem. Simply hover over, click on the 7, and drag it to the 5 spot. That 5 spot has now been moved to 6. When you've completed filling in all of your slides, actually a better terminology as I used earlier are frames, then you basically have completed your presentation. You have the option, however, if you'd like to customize it by going next to the insert button and clicking on the customize. On the right hand side, that'll bring you up various themes from which to choose. Let's look at Glacier. That changes the look a bit. Let's look at Rescue. Adds a bit of a sense of urgency. We can look at Night. Basically, it's entirely up to you as the presenter to depict the type of mood you want by the theme that you've chosen. Music and voiceovers under the Insert button can also add to the experience of the auditory learners. Who can follow along with the visual learners who have benefited from the frame-by-frame display, and the convergent learner who is actively experimenting in developing their own Prezis has the benefit of learning in their particular fashion. Still, that being said, differentiated instruction may be difficult to achieve using Prezi because at times it can only provide one standardized direct instructional method, as opposed to allowing a variety of different activities for students to access the information on their own. Still, overall, Prezi is a very powerful tool for teaching and learning. Here's a prime example of a student using Prezi to deliver a lesson.
My name is Ben Sofke, and this is my Prezi on Americans going hungry due to lack of money for food. So, chances are some people in this room could not afford to eat at one point last year because 18.2% of Americans lacked sufficient money to buy food at least once in 2012, and cuts proposed by the House of Representatives would remove 1.8 million Americans from the food stamp programs. Cuts proposed in the Senate would take $90 in food assistance away from 500,000 homes. The House Republicans have been the primary drivers of these food stamp cuts. The elderly and working families in southern states will be hit the hardest, while Midwest and mountain states will be the least affected. Only the poor citizens will be affected by the proposed cuts.